Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Tam's story. We're picking up right where we left off, as you are in the cleric's classroom. You are with Sagona, and you've just had a pretty heartfelt moment. What do you do?
Um, he is gonna kind of keep his arm sort of flung around Skoda, which is a little difficult because their height difference.
Yeah.
But he's gonna do that, and he's not gonna press her to talk more about any of that. But he's gonna be like, "Hey, we should probably get to class."
She
Um,
nods.
but thanks for doing this with me. Thanks for telling me.
As you turn, and Sagona kind of looks around. She's in the cleric classroom, and you see that as the door opens, Sabratha and Durakan, the two dragonborn clerics that are not the same at all, both enter. Um, and seeing you, this tower of a red dragonborn, well, he's bronze. Durakan looks at you and says, "Are you here to sign over your life to one of the deities?"
I've already done that, friend. Uh, but I was just, here to talk to Sagona a little bit. She's teaching me how to use medium armor, and I figured couldn't be a better person to ask but a dwarf, because, she's practically born in it.
Durakan looks over at Sagona and then back to you, and you see he considers saying something, but eventually he just says, "You have a point. Vion guides you." And then he goes over to one of the other shrines. Um,
The
and
fiddler guides you.
and then a door opens and Treat enters the room, and Treat sees you and says, "Tam."
Hi, I'll get out of here. I was just talking to Sagona.
Right. And then he just goes back to the front of the class.
Can I
So,
do an insight check on Sabratha? I don't think I've ever actually met her, but Sagona does not seem to like her.
yeah, roll an insight check if you want.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it about her? Nope, that's nothing. 8.
She seems hard to read. She
Okay.
doesn't really acknowledge you. As she enters the room and she basically takes her place. Her place is, you watch as the class begins to start, each of these clerics heads in front of one of the shrines. You recognize that Sabratha kneels down in front of the shrine of Tiras. That's what you get out of an
I like
insight
that.
of 8.
I like that. Uh, I am going to kind of slip from the classroom, but I will catch Sagona's eye, and as I slip from the classroom, right as I'm around Sabratha, I'm gonna make a little minor illusion of storm clouds that are kind of like the lightning bolts are like going into her head, um, as like a joke for
Roll
Sagona.
stealth and roll well.
15.
That's not well enough. As you make this illusion and Sagona smirks, Sabratha turns and looks at you. And you see that her eyes are cold, and she says, "Are you just here to waste more time?"
You can spare a couple of seconds. Bye,
Scamper
Sagona.
off.
He does.
Uh, okay. You flee. As you leave the room,
He,
um,
he, I would say he scampers. He does not feel like he is fleeing.
okay.
With Sagona around, he's like, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. This is fine.
Noted. As you leave, and you head to the Bard's classroom, allow me a moment to pull that up. On this Friday, the Bard's classroom is as it always is. But as soon as you enter, Tally looks at you as she's already at the stage in the front of the room. "Tam,
Yep.
Tell me some good news.
Okay, I just wrote a song for my friend, and she really liked it, and also, it was a good song.
That is good news. I was
Also,
thinking
my sword isn't cursed, which is great.
that's what I was hoping to hear. All right. Good. You are aware the Fall Festival is this Sunday.
I am, yes.
Are you and your team ready?
I think we could maybe practice one more time.
She blinks a couple times and she says, "No, you're supposed to say yes. I'm asking you for encouraging words here."
Oh, yeah, yes, we are ready, absolutely.
Oh, now I don't believe you because I've heard the first part.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were asking me to lie.
This is the part where you need to learn how to read the room, Tam.
Okay, um, I feel pretty confident.
Tally blinks
did
a
a-
few times.
We did a really good job the last time. We have not yet lost a bout.
That is good news. Okay.
Also, I have this cool sword.
Yes, you do. And I'm glad to hear it's not cursed. That's good news.
Nope, not cursed.
All right. Does your sword have any advice for you in the Fall Festival?
I haven't asked her, but I could.
What have you
Uh,
been asking her?
Well, she was helping me compose,
Okay.
and I've been asking her if she remembers. She's real old. Like the last time, she doesn't really quite remember how old. But the last time I talked to her, she was pretty surprised to hear that my parents were clerics because she was kind of around during the War of the Dead, and the gods weren't really so much a thing then. So we're still getting to know each other.
Tally blinks a couple times and then says, "All right. Well, that's all well and good. But I was hoping more. Never mind. All right,
What were you
Tam.
looking for? What were you asking her?
Don't worry about it. Honestly.
Okay.
Your sword was okay. You see, Tally's entire train of thought is just derailed, and she takes a breath. All right. As a member of my class, you're going to be in the Fall Festival leading a team, right?
Yes. Yes.
As you're doing that, you're going to be representing us, the Bards of the Merigard Academy.
Yes.
So, first things first, what do you remember about the layout of the Fall Festival, how it's going to work?
So everybody is, all the townspeople are kind of put out of the town so nobody gets hurt. The other contractors that are older than us, that are real contractors and know what they're doing, find monsters. And maybe, I don't know if they'll be contractors themselves, but I think it's mostly monsters, right? And they're released into the city, and they all have these little rocks. And the team with the most rocks wins. But also, you can get the rocks from monsters, or you can steal the rocks from other teams, and nobody gets hurt because, well, except for us maybe, but we can be brought back. No one is supposed to hurt each other too badly or kill each other. No executions per usual. And the rest of the town can watch us on those little mirrors that the artificers enchanted.
All right, you're missing a key part.
Okay.
Throughout the Fall Festival, there will be contractors.
Yes.
They're not in teams. There are a few contractors that have taken it upon themselves to volunteer. They will be rewarded if they succeed. They're going to try and make things more interesting. So you can expect traps to be hidden. You can expect them to be sneaking around corners, trying to get the jump on you, or distracting you while you're fighting other monsters.
Okay.
Each of these contractors also has a totem around their neck.
So if we can take them down, are the totems worth different amounts of points or everything, or is
Nope.
it just
Every
points?
totem's a totem.
Okay.
But if you take the totem off a contractor, they have to leave the city. They're out.
Oh. So it makes it easier. What happens if a contractor wins the fall festival?
Then they get one of the rewards. It's up to them. That's never happened, but it could.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're not
Okay.
part of a team. So
Sure. So it's harder for them to succeed.
they get their own reward for throwing themselves into harm's way. So,
I gotcha. Okay, that's fun. That's fun for them.
right. But they're tricky. And they have equipment that you don't have access to.
Like, he swings his sword.
More, well, yes, no one else has one of them. But more so, you can expect them to have abilities that you haven't even seen yet. Where they might turn into a giant monster for a short period of time. Or they might be able to teleport while you're trying to hit them. Or
Oh, wow.
maybe you'll think you'll see them for sure right in front of you. And as you slash at them, it was just an illusion. These contractors have been agents around the world for years. And they know things you don't know. This is all part of the learning experience, that you might see the tactics they use and remember them yourselves.
Okay.
Right. So, my point is, when you go into the Fall Festival, it's going to be hectic, it's going to be surprising, and don't assume anything.
Okay. But everybody wins because we all learn something. Except for we don't all, like, not everyone wins the money, but all of us win the learning.
Yes, it has been extremely beneficial to the Merryguard Academy to send our students into the Fall Festival every year. Except for the one year that there was a portal open to the Shadowfell and hundreds of shadows spilled out into the middle of it. That was terrible. But that's not likely to happen again.
That seems not great.
We have precautions set into place now that can't happen.
You gotta have some Horizon Walkers around to make sure it doesn't happen. I just learned about them. I have a new friend that does that, or is trying to do that.
Yes, Horizon Walkers are extremely valuable in protecting our city from nefarious portals. I didn't expect you to bring them up. Anyway, so today you have a few options. You can either go walk the town and become familiar with the section that will be cut out for the Fall Festival. You could go scrimmage in the training room. I don't think any other teams are available, but there are plenty of monsters that are going to be in the actual field that you'll be running into that perhaps you haven't seen yet. Or you can work in the classroom today to try and focus on your spells.
Suggest.
What do I suggest?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should walk the town.
Okay. Then that's actually, can I do kind of 1.5 of those things? If Nori is available, I think I owe her a rematch. And then I can walk the town with my team. Or just me. Whichever.
Well, that's fine. Either way you choose to do it. Whether you spar with Nori or not is kind of up to her. Before you leave, though, and she slaps parchment down on the desk next to her, and she gestures for you to approach. And you realize it's a map of Farum. And she is drawing a line around the sections of Farum that are going to be basically cut away for the Fall Festival. And you see it's all the way from the north, the chapel gate and the park at the north of the city, all the way down to the docks. It's like the entire main street and the markets and all those outlying little alleys are included. It's almost as though the middle of the city is all going to be where monsters and contractors and students will be running amok.
Okay.
And then she points out to a few places, and she says, there are going to be a few locations that are not going to be cleared out of, well, citizens.
Okay, so we gotta go from those.
Well, not necessarily. They can be used as safe houses if you are in dire trouble. The Physicary, they're going to be open in case anybody's hit for an emergency and they can't get out of the city.
Well, it's nice of Zurich.
The Griffin's Bag, Old Man Glass has decided to use it as a bastion, as it were. It's considered a safe zone. Anybody that's inside the Griffin's Bag is considered off limits, but you're only allowed to stay in there for 1 hour.
Okay.
If you're in there any longer, Glass will kick you out.
Makes sense.
You're also welcome to purchase any wares you need or potions, of course. Business must remain in business. Also, I wouldn't cross Glass. I don't know if you've ever seen him fight, but...
Oh, I have. He's very formidable.
Yes, don't fuck that up. I think that's it.
I'm friends with him. I like him.
Oh, good. And I think on the southwestern side of town, the Temple of Drunmere is also available for those who need safe haven for a short period of time. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Tam is taking little notes in his notebook.
Okay. And so then she hands you the map, and you have this where there's like 3 X's on it, and you see it kind of forms a triangle. That is, it wouldn't be hard to get to the nearest one if you found yourself hurt or in danger in any particular part of the town.
Are we allowed to set our own traps and stuff?
Aside from no executions, there's no rules. So
Okay.
any advantage you can set yourself, or any, booby trap that you might plant that can land yourself a victory or a totem, you are encouraged to do so.
Okay.
Which I warn you, other students will do the same.
Sure. I'm not very good at that, but Skolma is, so I'll ask her.
Tally tilts her head and nods and says, "Yeah, she does. She's certainly good at that, I hear."
I think I'm getting the hang of this teamwork thing.
Good. You're going to need it.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
couldn't do anything by myself.
That's not true. You need to believe in yourself. Don't make me yell at you again, Tam.
Nothing. I mean, what I mean is, I couldn't do something like this as effectively.
Well, nobody could. That's why no single contractor has won the Fall Festival.
Makes sense.
Even though they might have years of experience. Still groups of people and monsters.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Also, sorry. Last thing.
Yeah.
7 o'clock. In the Fall Festival, at 7 o'clock, there is a monster that's released on the town. The team that brings it down and collects its totem counts as 5 totems.
Whoa. Do I know
well-
a monster?
No, I'm not going to tell you. That's part of it. Why would I tell you? That's an unfair advantage.
I just I didn't know if that was stuff we were allowed to know or not.
No, you'll find out. At 7 o'clock, you'll find a monster with 5 totems hanging around its neck. Be wary, for it will be dangerous.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Okay, good. I feel confident.
Good. Now, off you go.
Off I go. He's gonna tap Yithrin, give him guidance.
Thank you.
Good luck in the Fall Festival, buddy.
I won't need it. They will.
I bet you won't. And it's gonna look over. What's Nori doing right now?
She is what looks like she's ghost fingering the frets on her fiddle for a particular song. She's not doing anything in the moment, but she's making something.
Oh, she's composing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Tam respects that process. He's not gonna bother her for sparring if she's composing. But he will beam at her that she's working on fiddle, and smile at her, and kind of give a little shrug, and then leave the classroom.
Okay. I will see if Nora even notices. Yeah, she notices.
Okay.
She kind of nods at you. The lips quirking up in a half smile when you are basically honoring the fact that she's trying to make a song with a fiddle, I should say. And then she just resumes back to work. So,
Cool. He won't bother her. He will leave. There are some things that Tam, the integrity of which to even Tam, with all of his high energy puppiness, respects.
that's fair. Roll me a D100 real quick.
Okay.
Okay, roll me a d20.
Seven.
Huh. Okay. You bump into someone in the hall.
Okay.
And it is amusing that this is a person that's just... Okay, so a door opens just to your left. And coming from that door washes the smell of fresh spring air and pollen and leaves and the undergrowth of a forest. And as the door opens wide, a man... What is this person? You tell by the fairly narrowly pointed ears that a half-elf, must be a half-elf as he has a beard, steps out into the hallway, and you've never seen him before.
Does he have blonde hair and heavy armor? Or medium armor?
He has... It's not blonde hair, it's kind of a pale brown, but he is wearing metal armor, clearly. Has a long sword on his hip and a shield on his back. And he...
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to be in your way.
So, out of character, I forgot to mention that there were also two roleplay tech scenes in between last thing. One of them was Tam talked to Kaylin because Kaylin flagged him down and was like, "Hey, there's a ranger here from KO. You might want to talk to him." His name is Killian.
Yes, it is.
And he's a ranger, but he wears metal armor, and he looks like he's an elf. So Tam actually was going to try to find this person anyway at one of the dinners, and so it's kismet that he just happens to be here right now. He's gonna look up and kind of look him up and down and say, "Oh wow, you're a ranger, huh?"
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Who are you?
No, sorry, this must be weird for you. My name is Tam. I'm a Bard student.
Oh, I just started yesterday, so... Hi.
Yes. Hi. I'm kind of friends with one of the ranger students, and he told me to look out for you. Your name is Killian, right?
Yeah, Killian Trust. Was it Tier, or was it Kaylin?
It was Kaylin. He said that you're from KO, maybe?
Aye.
I'm from KO too.
Oh, whereabouts?
I'm from Coda City.
Oh, a big city boy, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's been pretty different here in Faro.
I imagine so. I hail from Halstead.
Okay, where's that? I know.
So if you look at the map, it's in the mountains. It's just at the entry, by the Golden Cascades. It's well known for mining. It's very well known for mining.
Okay.
That's what you know just off the noggin.
Okay. Hey, I'm really sorry if this is like forward or anything. Do you know anything about? You just got here. Do you know anything about the conflict on the border?
Aye. Somewhat.
I hope everyone in your circle's safe. I've been worrying about it since I kind of know what things are happening on this side of the border.
It was actually a bit of a pain to get here. A friend of mine pulled a trick for me at the Arcanium in Coda City. What do you know?
Not too much. I just know that the last week or so, things have been really ramping up. I work at the Physicers sometimes in my off time, and a lot of soldiers coming in from the border. Lots of crushing wounds. Seems like a couple of weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, there was just some weird tension between like the patrols, and it was really weird how like the patrols from KO were attacking the ones from Aurelia, and like what were the orders happening, and there are a lot of confusion. Seems like there might be an embargo soon, even on messages going back and forth. The expectation is that war will be declared any day.
Aye, that's... Well, I could see why it would look like that from down here. Okay. Maybe we should walk and talk. I...
Sorry if I'm keeping you in from anything.
No, it's fine. My instructor, Trace, has informed me I should get a lay of the land, as I'm what they call an urban hunter.
Oh,
That's where my skills lie.
are you
So
gonna be at the fall festival with us?
probably not. I'm just, well, I'm not on a team or nothing, and I'm really new here. I just got into town 3 days ago.
Yeah, I
Um,
figured it'd be a lot, but I just thought.
it would be
I,
it would be fascinating, but I just got armed. Quite.
I gotcha.
Uh,
I gotcha. Well, you can watch it on the screens.
that's the plan. Aye.
Yeah, you can
That's what
cheer
I've heard.
for Kaylin and what was the other one's name?
Tier.
Pierre.
He's a nice guy.
I don't think I met him yet.
Oh, you'll know him if you see him. He's very, very pink in the head.
Oh,
He's very pink hair.
oh, okay.
I don't know if he colors it that way or if it grows. I'll have to ask him that. Anyway,
Yeah,
well, I'm going out in the town.
yeah. I actually was too, so I'll follow you.
Okay.
We could
That's
go
con-
together if you want, but if your assignment is to do it by yourself, I won't get in your way.
My assignment was to go get a lay of the land and not to come back until I know every nook and cranny of Ferrum. So, I don't think it matters if I have somebody with me or not, so long as I'm paying attention.
Okay. Well, my assignment, he'll take the map out, is to look at this part of the city is where we're gonna be for the fall festival. So that's what I'm assigned to look at. Would you mind starting there, maybe? I mean, we can
That's
talk
fine
more
with me. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Temerity, but folks call me Tam.
Tam. All right. As you said, I'm Killian. Um, yeah. Let's go take a look around.
Sorry for the kind of unsettling introduction. Word travels kind of fast around here.
It's fine. I just didn't quite expect it. As you leave the Merigard Academy's gates, and you begin making your way into Ferrum itself. And my music falls out of the world.
Tam will also cheerily wave at Persh.
He just kind of holds up a hand and continues what he was doing. Everyone seems very focused around here.
Yeah, I think some of that is the festival coming up, but some of that is just the vibe.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad, or not. Anything at all, really.
I think in some ways it depends on the classroom.
Alright. That's fair. Things seem pretty relaxed as far as attitude goes in the Rangers classroom.
Yeah? I don't
Uh,
know much.
well, I shouldn't say that. Triss is very much hard on us about, finding the right herbs and such. When I told her I was hoping to focus on, navigating cities and such, I think she ate a lemon.
Oh no, she really likes the forest, huh?
I, from what I understand, us Rangers, everyone has a different preferred territory, and mine is definitely not hers. Uh,
That makes sense.
but
Well,
she
if
says,
you're a city person too, that makes sense.
aye, yes. Where I come from, the city's terraced, and so it's hard to navigate one layer of the city without getting up to the next one and then back down. It almost takes a skilled ranger just to make their way from the ground all the way up to the highest tier. So, it's the knack.
So you must know a lot already then.
I know how to get around, but that's not the same as it being my profession.
I understand. I knew how to play music before I came here, but I definitely didn't really know how to be a bard.
Right, right. Also, I think Triss was quite upset when I told her I was a fan of the black powder weapons, instead of a bow. Which,
Well,
it is what it is.
Well, I don't. I think every teacher maybe has their own particular skill set, and maybe it must be difficult for them if they've got students wanting to do things that they don't know how to do, because that is maybe scary to try to still be the teacher.
Oh, she knows how to use them. Uh, don't make a mistake there. I regretfully said a stupid thing, and she showed me what for. Uh,
Oh no,
no,
you okay?
I'm fine. Just my pride was damaged a little bit.
I hear you. Kaylin was telling me that Tris is pretty good at showing you when you made a mistake and how to learn from it.
Right, and my mistake was thinking Triss couldn't handle a gun. That was a mistake. One I'll never make again. Anyway,
Yeah.
you wanted to know about Chaos side.
Yeah.
How long have you been out of the country?
Uh, I DM checked like 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
It's
couple months,
been about a month and a half.
a month and a half. Yeah, about. Does that like include travel time to get here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's about a month and a half. Not too long.
Right, then you basically just missed it. There's been raids north of Quarterstone, but on our side of the border. It's been all over the news sheets lately.
Raids on Aurelia?
On KO.
Okay, from Aurelia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So they funded this.
it's hard to know. There's been
Okay.
really conflicting reports in the news sheets saying that there were people that said that we started it and raided in Aurelia, saying that we got over all the way out to Shona, which I don't really know a lot about them. But I remember there was this big heist, a big shootout in the town of Shona, where I think 10 people were killed.
Oh my gosh.
Aye. But I don't know if that was us or if that was bandits. But immediately afterward, my brother sent me down to the news sheets to find out what was going on. And, well, then we had a mining crisis. It's been a long month. Um,
Okay. And now you're here.
I've been wanting to come here for years. Um, look, here's what I know for certain. Things are tense, and back home, at least in Halstead, if anybody found out you're from Aurelia, you're likely to get the snot beat out of you.
Ugh.
I don't know if there's anything to that aside from just people being angry, but the borders are closed, and to get over here, I had to pay some money to some people I'd rather not have in the Arcanium, and I had to teleport. Which, if you've ever teleported in an Arcanium before, it's expensive.
Well, I haven't done it, but it sounds expensive. And maybe disorienting? I've never teleported before.
It wasn't so bad. It just a little bit of the sick, like you want to throw up for a few minutes, but it goes away. I was just glad to be here after all that. Um,
Yeah.
no one over here seemed to care that I was from KO, though.
No, I mean, I don't know. Here seems, Farum seems kind of like a melting pot. Like, I don't know. I in Coda City, it's mostly elves and a couple of tieflings, and like there's a couple other kinds of people, but mostly elves. And it's it's still a city, but it's not like this. I met all kinds of people that I've never seen before. There's drow here. There's halflings. There's tons of humans.
The
There's
carriage driver from Augur City was a drider, and I'd never seen one of them before.
yeah. One of my classmates is a gnoll.
I
I
think I
know.
saw him in the one. That's all. I wasn't sure what to make of that. I thought it was a barbarian.
I know he's a bard. He's so great. He's so great as a lyricist and instrumentalist.
I am surprised, to say the
Has some
least.
trouble getting claws on the strings sometimes, but I help him out with that when I can.
I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way that that's adorable. I'm trying to imagine a Noel playing. What does he play? A harp?
Oh, I can't remember. It's some kind of, it's like a lute
It's a
instrument,
lute. He
right?
plays a lute.
A lute. He plays a lute. He's really good at it too. It's just that his fingers aren't really built for it.
Remarkable. All right.
He's
Uh,
a softie. Great.
uh, well, okay.
I mean, the academy, you kind of learn. It doesn't even take that long to learn where, like, it's a place of second chances, you know. And so, all kinds of people come here, and it means that we all kind of have to live together and be, you know, a bunch of weird, different kinds of mismatched people together. And I think because the academy is such a big deal in the city, I think that influence maybe resonates a little bit outside to the whole, maybe not the whole city, but maybe that's part of why there's not as much of an issue. But maybe I should be careful about who I tell and where I'm from, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think it's quite the same. At least not yet.
That's a comforting change. Uh, I was really worried when I teleported that I'd have to be careful about being an elf over here. Um, with how just it's like a powder keg over in Halstead at least.
I
Um,
understand.
I didn't see a whole lot of Coda City. I was mostly in a carriage,
That's
keeping
how
my
I
head
feel
down.
about. It's kind of how I feel about a lot of the place that I kind of sailed on the ship from. But there's even another elf, Halliwell Hallifuff. He's the one of the wizard students. He's an elf. He's from KO. So there's a couple of
Aletheth.
us. Uh-huh.
That's a name I know.
Yeah.
Aye.
I don't think I do. What do you know?
Um, they're they're keepers of well, uh, they're they're founded near Halstead, from what I know. Um, their names come up quite a bit around my family. Uh,
In a
they
bad way?
handle nah, mm, maybe the way that any noble family you hear about is bad. They just
Well,
their name is tossed about as like you complain to them.
oh, okay. So they're kind of the people that soak up the complaints.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it.
Okay. Oh, well, you might have something to talk about with him then. He's a little bit standoffish. I haven't met him. I was on an opposite team from him once, and I just kind of really met him once in the wizard classroom. But he seems pretty cool.
Opposite team.
Oh, we do these scrimmages sometimes. There's a training room, and there's like healing mist in it, and you can fight against monsters, or you can sometimes fight against other teams of other students, and so that's more of the context that I met him in.
I wish I'd gotten here sooner.
Lots of people training for the fall festival, you know. But hey, after the festival, the training room will still be open. There'll just be different reasons to use it.
Sure, sure. That makes sense to me. Um, alright. We should probably actually do. Well,
That's right.
I need to get a look around. So as he begins to start paying attention to his surroundings, um, you take a look at your map.
Mhm.
As you do, roll me a D100.
Okay. $42.
Okay. As you step out into the basically out of the main streets, you step out into in front of the gates, the chapel gate. I will place you here. And you do happen to have Killian with you, so I'll place him here. Now, the map is sparse of people, but that is not the case for the actual town of Ferrum. There are people milling about in all directions, and you directly to your left, as you step off this main street that leads to the Merryguard Academy, you see the gate that leads up and north to the forests. And you are looking at the entrance of the gate, which has the fountain in the middle of it, and across from it, beyond the alleys, you can see the East Park. This is where
Excellent.
you are. Now, this map is accurate to what Ferrum, this section, looks like. And I'm going to give you some opportunities here to find stuff that might give you an advantage during the Fall
Ooh.
Festival.
Fun.
So, as you look around this map, and you know, notice the small things and stuff like that, if you point out something that has a note of worth to it, I will ask you a perception check. But go ahead and you, the player, look around this map and see if there's anything that strikes you as important or would be notable for some reason.
I think Tam in particular is thinking a lot about Svelna and thinking about sneaking. So I
Okay.
think he's going to be drawn into these like little areas of shadows, like around here and particularly these little crates underneath, like kind of opportunities that Svelna can hide.
Okay.
And probably even the whole team. So like these little areas of shadow, there, and over. I'm looking primarily at like the actual shadows on the map and like here.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check as you're looking at these different nooks and crannies that you think a sneaky rogue might be able to hide in.
Can I guide myself for this?
Yeah.
Mm,
16.
hang on, me. I always forget that I can't roll the d4 from the sheet. 19.
Okay. With a 19. Right now, your team, whatever your team for the Fall Festival, has a +4 bonus to its encounters.
Sure.
As you're looking into these little nooks and crannies, I'd like you to make a note that your team will have an additional +1 to stealth rolls
Okay.
on the Chapel Gate section of the city.
Just want to stealth Chapel Gate. Awesome. I think I'm going to also be looking for what are things that Taunus could improvise building materials from.
So the huge ring in the middle of the section, the plaza, it is all huge like slate stone tiles. And you've seen her use her mold earth ability to move stone. So basically, while the cobblestone would probably be sufficient, the huge slate squares in the middle of the plaza would be much quicker and easier for her to use.
Okay, cool. He'll kind of note that down. Just good for mold earth. Has she ever done anything with electricity that I know of?
Not that you've seen.
Not that I've seen. I think I'm still gonna like make a little note of like, okay, fountain electricity question mark.
Okay.
Ask Taunus what she can do with that. And I think like I want to try to see if there's a place that she or Skolna could like set traps, like one of those grease traps. Seems like those tiles might also be kind of a good location to cast like a grease spell if we can lure people in there. That's maybe too out in the open.
You would have to lure them into it for that to work.
Yeah.
And you know that just by looking at it.
Yeah.
If people are being careful, they're probably not going to walk out into the middle of the plaza.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But I wonder if this little alleyway is this something that could support like a tripwire or something like that, or like some kind of trap. I'm gonna like kind of investigate some of these boxes and just sort of see what's around.
You're looking for notable locations to place traps.
Yes.
Okay, roll me an investigation.
I'm gonna guide myself for this too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Another 12. If my bonus is lower. Let's see. Didn't I roll go through? Didn't I investigate? Oh, there it goes. It's just going slowly.
So 15.
15.
Go ahead and make a note that traps that you set in the Chapel Gate district will have a +1 to their DC to spot.
Okay, cool. Traps to Chapel Gate. Okay, great. Let's see. What other things? Is there anything in like these? I'm gonna start over here. Anything in these like little boxes around that might be, actually, first thing, I'm gonna look for what are good places. I mean, I know that I can just kind of see this on the map, but like, what are some good hiding spots and places for cover for, because I have a lot of range on my team.
So
With
these
all my weapons.
trees, each tree is
Yeah,
like an actual profound tree that you could use
like
as
a tree,
cover.
not a shrub. Okay, good to
Correct.
know. Um,
Also, the wagons, if they're still here in the actual fall festival, each wagon would be perfectly suitable cover.
cool.
You could also create cover using mold earth out of the
Yep,
cobblestone or out of the plaza tiles.
incredible.
Basically, if you were to decide there's plenty of cover here, you would just need to be creative about using what's here.
Using it, got it, got it. Is there anything that could potentially, other than the grease that Thomas can cast, that could be flammable?
Uh, you don't see anything obviously marked oil. Go ahead and roll me investigation.
Ooh, that's pretty good. 17 plus guidance. 19.
You see
Oh,
that
actually, no, sorry, 20, 21, because I forgot my investigation.
with a 21, yes, you find that these barrels at the bottom of the map, if you can see my ping, it kind of blends in a little bit. The barrels on top of that wagon are marked mineral spirits.
Okay, great.
You imagine you could use those for an explosive trap or a fire trap of some kind.
Okay, explosive trap, fire trap. Okay, very, very good. I wish I had a more creative brain for these things. So I also have a more creative brain for these things. Um, is there anything? Is there anything like any surface that looks maybe weaker or that it could be weakened? So like if someone
On the
stood
ground,
up, yeah, on the ground or on like any of these like wagons or something like that, is there anything that could be weakenable such that someone might fall?
the tiles that create the plaza, you know that the fountain must have water underneath it somewhere.
Mhm.
You don't know where, but you imagine with a little bit of exploration, you might be able to find a way to make a pit trap or something out of the central plaza tiles. But that is going to require. Go ahead and give me an engineering check. No, give me.
Investigation? Intelligence?
This is just a straight intelligence roll.
Great. The thing that Tam is best at.
Yeah,
That's not terrible, though. I'm gonna guide myself to. He's taking his time with this. 16.
16. You imagine that if you could figure out which way the water goes out underneath the phantom, out underneath the fountain, it would be easy to make a pit trap using mold earth.
Okay. Where the water goes. Through the trap. Um. Okay. What? Oh, places that we might be able to hide. And is there anywhere we can get like height? Like, is there a way to sort of like, are these roofs the kind that we could like get Spelna to be a sniper from or something like that?
Uh, Probably not the steepled roofs. This roof, this one, the top right of the map, has a big flat surface on the top, which would be effective for someone to stand upon, as would be the roof of Bud's Bud Shop, which is this one.
Okay, good to know. Roof of buds, so we could so Spelna could theoretically. And are there places for her to hide up there, or would she be out in the open?
So on top of Bud's Buds, there is a steepled opening where it's almost like a plume of basically the smoke from incense and burning herbs is allowed to escape.
Mhm.
She could probably hide behind that on top of Bud's Buds. The
Would
other
that
cert building,
in,
which is, huh?
that interfere with her vision at all or anything?
Probably not. It might make her a little high. The other structure is the general store, and it's just flat on the top. And if she is up there, there's not really any place to hide, unless she goes prone. But as you're thinking about it, that's what you consider.
Got Gotcha. Okay, so she could hide behind the smoke. Do I know that Bud's Buds will be open? Is that one of the places that'll be open? That the
No,
smoke
Bud's
will
Buzz
be
will
there?
be closed.
Bud's Buds will be closed. So the smoke won't be there,
No, the smoke will not be there, but the steeple will, so she could use
but
that
the
for
people
cover.
we could use that for cover. Okay, good to know. Okay, so we got hiding. I'm trying to think of what would be useful for Hiram, and I really like he's a barbarian, so I don't really quite know. Um,
A choke point?
a choke, yeah, maybe a choke point. That's the kind of I don't know. Yeah. Are there any? Can it like? Yeah. Is this over here on the left like an alleyway, or is there?
That
Is
is an
there?
alley leading farther back behind the buildings, like behind Bud's Buds and behind the physicary.
Okay.
Which,
Is any sort of
this is the
thing that?
physicary, by the way, this structure.
Oh, which one? Hang on. I'm gonna zoom out. Where's the degree?
It's this top left building.
At the top left. Okay.
The one with the banners hanging from it that say Fall Festival.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Any sort of like that's good. I'll look for any sort of like choke point. Where could we bottleneck people theoretically?
So, that alley would be, you could easily bottleneck here. You could bottleneck between this building and the trees. If it happens, you could create a bottleneck using the plaza's tiles if you had time to prepare.
If we had time to prepare. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. I don't know what would be useful. Oh, duh. What am I talking about? Sagona's a storm cleric. She could probably do something with lightning in that fountain if she needed to.
100%.
Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, duh, of course. I'm so used to her doing thunder damage, but like, of course, she must have some sort of lightning something. Um, okay. Cool. I think that's all that I. Oh, actually, these little flags around here are they
Mhm.
like transversible? Are they? Is
They're
it
just
possible?
they're hanging streamers that say Fall Festival, and some of them say like special on medicines or like fresh sausages served daily, things like that. There's all sorts of little streamers. They are movable, but they're hanging on twine, so you don't expect them to actually be.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not actually that useful.
No.
What about like any of these like little areas of
Hmm.
like supplies and stuff? Is there anything? Are we allowed to use those things? Or can I like
There's no rules, so
okay.
yes, if it's
All right.
there, you can use it.
I'm gonna investigate. I guess I'll choose little one. Yeah, I'll investigate these like little cart this
Okay.
kind of area.
That is
See what
outside the general store. As you search them, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
okay. Item 16.
With a 16, you find the crates and barrels underneath the tarp are filled with various fruits.
Okay.
There are a lot of bananas and a lot of what look like melons. The other barrels, you find two of them are filled with basically low quality liquor. They're just cheap
Okay.
casks of
That's
liquor.
flammable. Okay.
And these two crates on the wagon are filled with what look like farming implements:
Okay.
sickles, rakes, flails, but not the sorts that you'd use like as actual weapons.
Okay. Good to know. Uh, okay. That Tam will make a note. He's scribbling down little notes in his notebook.
Okay,
Um, these ones over here.
over where? Those
These
those are the mineral spirits.
Oh, these are the mineral casts. Yes. What about like these little crates, and this little guy over here?
Okay,
Here.
fertilizer and soil.
Okay. Flammable. Good to know. Potential bomb. Potential.
How familiar
Fertilizer.
is Tam with turning fertilizer into an explosive?
Tam is not. Tam is hoping. Tam is not. He is hoping that his artificer friend will be. But that seems like useful opportunities, maybe. And okay, last little thing that I can see in here. Over here, these ones by the flags.
Give me a ping. Oh. As you look at those are north of the physicary. The barrels are marked distilled water.
Okay.
Roll me an investigation check, please.
I sure will. I'm gonna guide myself again. Guidance rolled before the other thing did. Come on, where are you on my sheet? And that is a 9, investigation plus 3, 11. Or, sorry, 12.
With a 12, which is the DC, you see one of the barrels is not filled with distilled water. This barrel is in a little bit different shape. It seems as though it's finished with wax. And as you look at it, you find there is a small label on the top, Kefka weed.
Ooh, what's that?
You have seen Zurich use this. It is an ingredient in his healing salves.
Interesting. So, do I know if it can be used by itself? Or does it need to be distilled or something?
By itself, roll me a history check. You don't know.
Okay, I can ask, though.
You could.
Okay. Can I take a little bit, or is that not allowed until the festival?
The barrel is sealed.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
you would have to
Okay.
crack it open to do that.
I will not crack it open, absolutely not. No, Tam is too much of a rule follower for that.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of things because I don't know exactly what else
That's
to look
okay.
for. Oh, one more thing. I'm gonna look for anything that's like loose cobblestones, any part of this map, anything that might look like it's in working order, but is in fact not.
Roll investigation.
Guidance. Yeah, it's pretty good. 13.
You find a couple things that strike you as needing repair. These trees are set into a potting section that the stone that kind of wraps around them is loose. Would be easily to pull away.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what you get with a 13.
So does that mean that like the tree would maybe fall over? Or...
Could. It could be made to fall over.
Okay.
It would not be hard.
Okay, so Tam is going to be sniffing around doing all of this, and is going to look. And meanwhile, he's going to kind of look curiously at Killian to see what he's doing.
So Killian is methodically walking around the section. He's paying attention to the people. He's looking at the alleys and he's like making note of what buildings are all where. He's very meticulous about it. And you see that he is like looking up at the suns and looking at where the shadows are falling and paying attention to where the glares are on the windows on the fronts of buildings. It seems like he's taking in details that it wouldn't occur to you to take in.
Well, Tam is just going to ask him to explain it to him.
Killian would glance over and say, well, for the most part, if people are doing things that they need my aid in tracking down, there are times a day when you can use a window for a mirror and times when you can't. Also, you can kind of see where people spend most of their time traveling through based on, you can see the ground is more worn over here and less over there. Like this alley here, nobody uses this except likely the proprietor of this shop, which means there's probably nothing back there. So if someone were to hide, that would be a good place to hide.
Make a note.
He breaks down his process, and
So, is there a way, can you blind somebody with a window like that if you know where you're looking?
Of course, if you know the time of day, where the suns are.
I don't, but that seems really cool.
It just takes practice and awareness. For example,
Um,
the suns are high right now, but if this was the evening and I were standing over there, I could aim a shot right at you, and you wouldn't even see me. It would hurt to look my way.
oh, that's really smart.
He just kind of shrugs and looks around and says, "These are the sorts of things you pick up. Just, I guess my brother taught me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, what did you find?"
He'll kind of break down his little list and be like, okay, well, I think that there's a thing over here, and he's mostly, I think he will break down. I think it will take him halfway through the conversation to realize that, like, oh, you don't know these people. Sagona is a cleric, and she does this. I won't like go all the way through it.
Yeah, you don't have to go through everything you just went through.
But he will tell, like, in detail. It's like, okay, here's the thing that I'm thinking, and he's talking about it very much in terms of, like, my team is good at this. This person, like Killian will get a really good sense of, like, here are the strengths, because this is the thing that Tam cares about and has a lot of insight into, is like, here are the strengths of my team.
Okay.
Um, and he's like, and Hiram can probably bottleneck people here, and Sagona can maybe, like, she'll be good for a bottleneck too. She's really good at, she's really good kind of up close, but she's also really good from far away, and she's really great with lightning. Like, that's the gist.
It's quite a team, it sounds like you have.
Yeah, they're all great.
I don't envy going up against you if were I in the full fisthold. I guess that's no problem, because I'm not.
Well, see, the thing is, the secret is, I don't think I know a single person here that isn't in some way excellent. So it's really hard. Man, when we were sparring against that other team, it was really difficult. I went down. I didn't know even what happened until it was, like, down to the last person. And Tanis was really smart. She's always really smart. She's the smartest. But she cast Grease on some of the people that, especially the kind of, like, heavy hitter fighters, and they went down, and then she cast Firebolt in the grease, and so it went up in flames, and that's kind of what, put the final team, put the nail in the coffin,
That'd be a clever trick, eh?
She's really smart. And I'm very sure that she's going to have a sense of what to do, with some of this groundwork than I am.
Aye, maybe show her those notes. She might have
I'm
something
gonna.
to do with it.
I'm gonna. The thing to learn, and I think one of the things that we learn in the Bard classroom, is that, like, one of the strengths of a Bard is to kind of help the whole rest of the team work better together, So it's my job to sort of know what people's strengths are and be aware of them and encourage them, and kind of take some of the notes and then know what they can do to run with those notes. Fortunately, it's not my job to be smart enough to know how to set the traps and, where next the best place to put things, but that's not my strength. My strength is this.
That's a fine amount of self-awareness you have there. I'm sure that'll help.
Thanks.
Alright, I'm finished with this area if you want to move down to the next block.
Sure.
On your map there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can either go toward the park or you can go down the main street.
Let's go down the main street.
Okay. So, as I place your token, again, you can look around the map, try and get a good idea of where would be a good focus and other things that would be useful to know. To the right of you on this main street, you'll see there is the East Park itself, and then the actual stretch leading down towards the market. This is a much more crowded section, obviously.
Sure.
So go ahead and so we're not spending all day on this section of the game.
Sure.
Why don't we go ahead and do, like, you try and find 3 things to your advantage,
3 things.
and we can move on.
Sorry that I spent so much time.
No, it's fine. I didn't. I've never done this way before. This is a learning experience for me.
I think I've got the same. I think I want to do the same, like, first two things. I'm looking for hiding places for everybody, especially Savona.
Okay.
And looking for good places to set traps and good places to set bottlenecks.
All
Those
right.
are the three.
So, hiding places first. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
I'm doing guidance for all of these.
Okay.
So let's see. That rolls.
So, a 14.
Yes.
Not great.
Sorry. I got excited with rolling. Go ahead.
Okay,
14
so
is not great.
14 is not great. You have the same bonus as in the previous map. You can give yourself a +1 to stealth on the main street.
Okay. So the stealth. Main street. And then the other one I rolled was very bad. I think that was a 6 + 1, so a 7.
So you actually have a -1 penalty to the DC
no.
on your booby traps.
Okay, -1 DC traps.
It seems as though you're just having a hard time finding locations for these sorts of things. It's not easy to find a place where a trap would just be not noticeable. It's almost as though the streets are too clean. There's not enough clutter about to make it easy.
The last one is a natural 1, and I have inspiration, so I'm going to reroll.
Okay. This one, remind me what we're rolling for this one?
This is bottlenecks, and places just kind of create. Oh, that's not better. That's not a natural 2. A net 2 is better than a 1.
All right. So you also.
That is a 5. Oh.
I'm afraid that is poor. You're going to want to avoid confrontations on the main street, as you will be enemies that fight you here, particularly when you're trying to find a choke point. They will have bonuses against you. So make a note of that.
Okay. I think like if that makes sense for flavor, Tam will just sort of be like, I don't know, this seems like a bad area. I feel like I can't. We should. Chapel is better. Chapel is better.
Okay. So then the next area. From here, you can go to the East Park, or you can go to the market.
East Park next.
Okay.
And just to make things simple, I'm going to do the same 3 things.
Okay, so stealth. So places to hide first. Go ahead and roll that.
Places to hide first. I was doing so well on my investigation checks before.
That's how it goes sometimes.
I mean, I knew that the luck would run out. Hang on, it's guidance. Okay, 12. Not very good.
A 12. There is no penalty, but there is no bonus to stealth here.
Okay, gotcha.
So just make a note that East Park stealth is neutral. All right. Next, you're looking for places for traps.
Traps. It's a little bit better. Guidance. 16.
16. Traps that you place here, you find lots of good places for them. Your traps here will have an additional +1 to their DCs to be spotted.
Okay, great. And bottlenecks. Natural 20! I'm gonna add guidance anyway! 24!
Okay.
26!
Alright. With a 26 on trying to find choke points and places to fight here. Encounters that you have in the East Park, you will have a surprise round. In addition to a +2 to your encounter rolls here.
Holy shit. He's gonna make a whole bunch of notes about, like, this is the place. This is the place to have the stand.
Yes.
Incredible.
East Park is to your advantage.
Alright, last place, I think?
From here, you can get to the market or back to the main street.
Market is the place that I haven't looked at, right? Or were we just there?
You were just on the main. You were just on the main street.
We were just on the main street. We haven't looked at the market yet, and we've looked
Correct.
at the chapel. Okay, market next.
Okay, here is the market. No surprise here that there are plenty of places to hide in the market. With a 22, stealth rolls in the market are at a +3.
Incredible. Stealth +3. Alright, and...
Now, places for traps. Go ahead and roll for that.
Pretty good, too.
21. Your traps have a DC to be spotted increased by 2.
Amazing.
And they will deal an additional damage dice of damage.
Additional damage dice. Okay. And last thing, bottlenecks and choke points. Come on, let's do well. Let's do well. Keep this straight for me, please. That's not great. But it's not a negative, so that's good.
A 14. Your combat encounters here in the market are at a +1.
Okay. This is excellent. Are these all the places?
There is also the dock.
Oh, let's do that too.
Okay. As you head south, you go to the south dock. This is where you will be. This is like the bottom of the map, basically. Okay, with a 16?
18.
Oh, an 18. Oh, with an 18, your stealth rolls here are at a +2.
Amazing. And this is including the bonus, or on top of the bonus?
This is on top of it, yes. All of these are on top of your group's proficiency bonus.
Yeah, we love this. Okay, so stealth +3, or +2, sorry. Investigation for traps. And guidance.
Your traps here at a 17. Again, your traps here at a +2.
Incredible. And last thing, come on, don't roll low on combat. That's better. That's what we like to see.
And your guidance? Okay. 21. With a 21, your encounters here, well, you don't have a surprise round. Your combat encounters here are at a +3.
Heck yeah. So that's pretty good. We just gotta just don't hang out on the main street.
Stay away from the main street.
Stay away from the main street.
So,
okay.
As you've done the walkabout, you have spent a couple hours going through the different sections of Farum that you can see on the map are going to be open to you. As you walk about and Killian watches you work, he's also investigating the city on his own. But now, as you're standing in the docks, you have gotten to basically the end of your search.
Can I have been like chatting a little bit to Killian at this time and have asked first, but have maybe like offered him guidance a couple of times myself for him?
You can do anything you want.
Cool. I mean, I don't know if he would take it, but that's basically what I'm saying is like Tam would absolutely have over the course of a couple of hours, because I'm sure that that's something that like would look. I hadn't thought about it.
You're guidancing yourself for all of these roles, and guidance is concentration.
Oh, that's true. It is concentration. That's fair. That's true. But he is, that's fair. Okay.
You can talk to him and chat with him, but if you're going to guidance him, you're going to take that away from your own roles.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super. That's fair. But he is kind of like, fiddling a little bit, I think, with his fiddle and kind of humming. I think for Tam, the guidance is humming, probably.
Okay.
Very pointed and dedicated humming.
As you finish searching this area, and Killian looks to you, he says, "All right, well, I have to go head out. I guess I'll go over by the garden gate. Is that what they call it? I'm not sure.
That's what they call it.
I'm going to head that way. But I imagine since you're finished, you're going to head back to the keep?
Yeah, that's the plan, but I really appreciate the company.
Oh, hey, anything's faster if you have someone to talk to whilst you're doing it.
Absolutely. Is it possible that I have one more of these candies in my pocket?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I will take it out and offer it to him. I don't know if you have these in Halstead, but this is a treat from Coda City. Do you have these there?
No. And he,
You
looks at
want
it skeptically.
you don't have to, but it's my last one and they're pretty good.
All right, I'll try one. That's kind of you. And he does take it. What do you surmise these candies taste like?
I think it was told to me that they are like a soft like caramel that has kind of like an herbal finish. Is
Okay.
what you told me at the beginning.
As he eats it, and he just, oh, that's new to me. All right,
Pretty surprising, right?
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. And hey, if you get hassled at all for being from KO, I don't think you will, but if you do, let me know, okay?
All right.
I have your back. We gotta stick together.
That we do. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wish me luck.
Good luck. You're
And
gonna be great.
he just kind of shrugs as he's looking around, and you watch as he methodically, kind of slowly walks his way down that street, shifting through all the people that are filtering through the docks. At this point, it's about 2 in the afternoon.
Okay. He will actually. Would we have passed a trolley cake stand at any point
When you're in the market, yes.
in the market? He would at the very least have pointed this out to Killian
Okay.
as like this is delicious. Doesn't have to be now because I know you're focusing, but like at the end of your day, you should probably get one of these.
All right, I'll try one.
So I think he will get a trolley cake.
Okay, you purchase a trolley cake. They are warm with crispy edges on the bottom. Each one's 6 copper as usual.
Very cool. And he will eat it happily as he goes back to the back to school.
Okay.
And
What
we'll check in.
What is your plan?
People are still in classes, right?
100%.
100%. Okay. So he won't do exactly the thing he wants to do. He's gonna just check back in with Tally.
Okay,
And
you go
pop
back to the art classroom.
pop in his head to see if Savona is done with her composition.
You
Or
mean
Savona,
Nori?
to see if Nori is done with her composition.
Nori would be at this point.
Okay. He has licked the sugar from his fingers, and kind of strolls into the classroom and tips his head at Tally and shows her all his notes, and then says, "Hey, Nori, if you're done composing, do you want to do some sparring?"
Nori kind of rolls her shoulders as she sets down the instrument that she was working on, and she looks at you and says, "Sure, I don't see why not."
We'll go into the training room, probably.
Yes.
Cool.
And Tally just kind of gives you the thumbs up. And as she sips from a mug that you assume is clava, but it might be spiked. And you make your way to the training room.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One moment while I pull out Nori and yourself.
You doing a jig or a reel or an air, or it doesn't have a name yet.
She looks at you, and I'm not sure yet. It's a bit of an exploration. You'd call.
Yeah, I don't see you with fiddle much.
It's not my typical. It's not my typical instrument. I prefer the flute usually. All right. So I realize you now have this fancy sword.
Hmm?
Have you ever used a rapier before?
Yeah, a little bit.
And not just
In
in
the
sparring with me. I mean, for real.
No, not for real. I bet you have though.
Yes, I have. All right. Since I've focused, I found it extremely helpful to have a weapon in my offhand.
Okay. Like a dagger or something?
Yes, I prefer a dagger because I can parry with it if I need to. But I don't think I don't think we're going to be teaching you how to parry or anything like that. Let's focus instead on just footwork.
Okay.
Have you ever done any drills with footwork before?
I don't think so. But you're really fast, right? So you have.
It's not about being fast. It looks fast when you know what you're doing. And she begins to show you how to move.
It's about being precise, then.
As she does this, I need you to roll me an athletics or an acrobatics. It is up to you.
11.
Okay. It's a little clumsy. You manage to keep pace with her as she's showing you that to keep a firm stance as you're moving, etc., etc. She's teaching you how to move with a sword out in front of you without showing off your entire body to be stabbed.
Okay.
She seems satisfied enough, and then she says, "All right, try to hit me." And we're going to roll initiative.
Okay. Do I have advantage on initiative because of the sugar?
Normally,
It's-
yes, so go ahead.
It's fine if I don't.
Go ahead. You have advantage because of the trolley cake.
It was not my intention. It was just what Tam would do. But I'm like.
I just think that's funny, especially since Nori rolled a 2.
Okay. 23.
All right. So, what do you do? As you have Soul Singer in your hand.
I have Soul Singer in my hand. I'm gonna kind of whisper. I'm gonna kind of, murmur to her, and like kind of in my head, and be like, "Okay, first fight," and I'll attack with Soul Singer first.
In your head, you hear, "Oh, this is the real fight." See?
God.
And like as you swing
What?
Soul Singer,
This is the fourth natural one he's rolled on.
yeah. As you thrust forward, it is clumsy, and your feet catch in the sand. And you stumble forward, and the thrust, which would have been on target, suddenly thrusts downward from you losing your balance. And Nore does not even move. But you are in melee, so I'm going to move you here. Nori will, look down at you, and she will flick your rapier up with her own, and she will say, "Don't get nervous. Just focus."
I'm gonna try to dagger her with my offhand.
Okay, roll an attack.
Better. 23.
Yeah, 23
definitely
hits.
Non-lethal. Non-lethal. He's not trying
It's
to hurt
just
her.
a D4. You do not add your modifier.
Yeah. That's right. I have to roll for. Okay.
You do have to roll for damage, yes.
I have to roll for damage. 5.
Okay. As you right yourself, you bring the dagger up, and you manage to land a small stab on her arm. She just kind of... Actually, will she use... I gotta decide if she will... Hold on a minute.
And just FYI, I'm refreshing that thing happened.
Yeah, she's going to parry it.
Okay.
So let me roll this. Yeah, she reduced the damage to 0. So the dagger struck true, but she manages to, as the thrust is going in, she drops the rapier down, and the pommel of the rapier just bats the dagger away. And she extends the rapier towards you again, and she says, "Very good. You are listening." And then she's going to... She's not going to use a fucking flourish, because she's not trying to kill you. She's just going to make a melee attack. She is a swords bard, so suddenly she has all of these things.
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's a 21 to hit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. She deals 1 point of piercing damage to you as she thrusts the rapier forward, and just before it would punch through the armor, she crooks her elbow, and just the tip goes, it hurts as it just enters. And she brings the rapier back, and then like does another flourish to bring the dagger forward. But as she does so, she says, "Do you see how I'm moving? It looks like I'm moving much faster than I really am. It's just about your feet and pivoting." And then she makes an attack. Does a 19 hit you?
18 does it.
Okay, so you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as she baps you with the back of the dagger.
Okay.
Now you try. Try and hit me with both. Focus on your movement and your footwork.
Okay. It is notable that he has not really talked. He is actually focused and intent.
That is notable, yes.
Better. 20.
That hits.
Still singing. Okay, he's gonna try to do the same thing that she's doing and kind of like, I will roll damage, but like, he's gonna try to like hold back and pull punch the same way.
Okay, you don't have to roll to do that. You just,
Oh,
you say
really?
you
Okay.
do, yeah. You basically say you do minimal damage and you remove your modifier. So
Okay.
you deal 1 damage, basically. All right, that hits. As that hits, you go for the follow-through, offhand with the dagger. Go ahead and roll your attack.
That's not as good. 14.
That misses. As you bring the dagger up, she swats it away with her own dagger, and she says, "Too obvious. You can't let me see where it's coming from. Try again. Like this." And she will... she's going to attack you again. Yeah, that hits. It's like a 24 to hit.
Yeah, 100%.
That's 1 point of piercing damage. And then a 21 to hit with the dagger. So 1 point of bludgeoning damage. You're getting slowly but surely covered in small little nicks and scrapes.
Little bruises. Yeah.
But she's trying to illustrate to you how to attack with the dagger after the rapier strike. Go ahead and roll your attacks with the rapier.
12.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. 16?
Good enough. You saw what she did with the dagger and the footwork. Roll me the dagger strike at advantage.
Ooh.
As she's helping you. Or trying to.
That's a good thing for advantage. Advantage is 22.
With a 22, the dagger finally hits. Go ahead and roll damage. It's a d4.
What? 1 point? Just 1 point.
Okay, you're holding it back.
Yep.
So, the rapier strike with a 12, it comes thrusting in, but she easily clashes it and parries it to the side. But in that moment, you step forward, moving your feet the way she did, and the dagger, boom, right in underneath her rib cage. And you see she smiles and she says, "You do listen. Good. All right.
You're a good teacher.
Back up. And she points to the where you had originally started. Now in earnest. Try and hit me.
Takes a deep breath.
Go ahead and go. She has given up her turn for this moment.
Okay, that is very sweet of her. And it works. 23.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
He's gonna use the Soul Singer feature and channel a bardic.
Okay. It's a good thing she has chosen to reduce it with a parry. Okay, so she reduces the damage you're dealing by 8,
Okay.
and you deal 11. So you feel the Soul Singer as you use that energy. You feel the vibration, almost like the blade is singing as it thrusts toward her. It's not anything you felt before. The hilt vibrates in your fingertips, but it vibrates with a harmonic that you recognize. It's almost like a C note as it thrusts toward her. And as that happens, she brings her own rapier up, parrying that blade against the hilt of her own rapier. But you still manage to get through. It's like the vibration of the Soul Singer and the energy you've pushed through it pushes past her block and the blade right into her shoulder. And she, all right, good. And then you follow through with the dagger?
With a dagger. Natural 20.
Okay, so roll a d4 plus 4.
Okay. He is confident now.
Okay, that hits. You deal 7
Eight.
points of piercing damage. So that turn she took 10 damage, even with a parry.
D4 plus 4. I know it was a 7. I rolled max damage, so it was a
Oh,
7
so it's
4,
actually
right?
8. It's actually 8.
Actually, yeah.
Because with an offhand attack, you don't have
Well, you don't have your
two-weapon
bonus.
fighting.
I forgot. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now it is Nore's turn. She smiles at you and she says, "You do learn quick. At least when you care about it, right?"
Well, I care about it now.
Good. You should. And then she steps in close to you and she will perform a flourish.
Incredible.
As she stabs forward with the rapier. Let's see if it hits. Does an 18 hit you?
It doesn't if I dynamic deflection, which I will.
Can you do that to yourself?
Yeah, it's in the spell. It says you create a distracting effect over the target's head, increasing their AC by 3. Only the attack. The only effect. One reaction which you take when you see an ally. Oh, it's an ally. It's not me. I thought it was me or an ally, but I guess it's not.
It
me or
is
an
just
ally.
an ally as a first level spell.
In which case, silvery barbs.
Okay. She rolls again. Hold on. Alright, let's see. She rolled a natural 16 on that one. She rolled way better.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give myself advantage though.
That's fair. Feature. She will use a slashing flourish, which makes her deal an additional d6. So, basically, she can use her Bardic Inspiration the way you can use it through Soul Singer. Not exactly the same, but close.
They're different, just different vibe.
It looks different. Okay. How did that happen? Hold on a minute. I need to figure out why this... Oh, it's from that bonus. Alright. She rolled real good on damage.
Okay.
You take 17 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, goddamn.
So, as she steps in extremely close to you. And she says, "I'm proud of you, though." And then she, flourishes the rapier up. The scraping sound of your rapier getting batted to the side with a shing, and then the rapier straight through your shoulder, all the way through. And then as she steps back, she pulls it away. She looks a little alarmed that it went all the way through. I think she thought that there was armor there, but she brings the dagger up in the offhand attack, as she always does.
Tam is he cries out a little bit, but he kind of looks up at her and he's grinning.
Okay, you take 3 points of slashing damage from that dagger strike.
Tam is almost done.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that hit was huge. I rolled max damage on both things. Or no, not... Well, I rolled a max on the Bardic. I rolled a 5 on the piercing. Still a lot.
Still a lot.
Nore, you can see that she's still getting used to her own abilities now as a swords bard. As she holds the dagger out in front of her and the rapier is up by her shoulder, she's looking at the rapier and it's still humming with energy from the Bardic that she channeled through it. And she just... Right. Now your turn.
You're getting even better. You're getting even better.
Hey, you're right. And it's your turn.
Dodge this.
Okay.
Attack at advantage. No natural 20 for me, unfortunately, but that is a 22, which I think does hit.
It does hit, yes.
I'm gonna channel another Bardic right back at her.
How many Bardics do you have left?
I have, with Soul Singer, I have 3 left.
Okay, go ahead and roll out that damage.
Max damage on the rapier. And not max damage on the...
Yeah.
but 12 piercing is... I think that's about what she gave me, right?
Not quite. She dealt you 17.
It was a 17. Okay, that's not okay, but not so
It's
bad.
still a very
That's
good hit. Yes.
a good
Don't
hit.
don't forget your dagger.
I will follow up with a dagger. Yes. Nope. 8.
Yeah, that misses. Okay, so you deal 12 points of piercing damage with that rapier thrust. Uh, how are you looking? How's your health?
Oh, I've got 3 points left. But it is clear, like it is clear that he doesn't look good, and he probably should have yielded this turn. Uh, but it's also clear that like Nore has inspired him, and he's trying hard.
Okay.
He wants to impress her.
Well, I think you have, at this point, uh, Nore raises the rapier up. Um, and as she's holding it out towards you, she tips her shoulders, and then she puts the rapier away. And as she sheathes it, she says, "You learn quick. I yield."
No, no, you don't. Come on, it's your turn. You would take me down this turn.
She, like, looks down at her shoulder where there is blood just cascading down her armor, and she says, no, I yield.
He'll reach out and cure wounds her.
Thanks. And
He
that
doesn't
is
need
her
to
healing
because-
word.
Aw, that's cute. He doesn't need to because the training room will patch them up, but it's the principal.
She understands that. She casts healing word by saying thanks. And you are healed. Wow. We both rolled dog shit.
Minimum 3 for her.
It's 3 for you as well.
That's so funny.
Nore then holds out a hand and says, "I'm impressed.
So am I.
It wasn't that long ago that I was worried you'd trip yourself with a rapier. Where did that confidence come from?"
I killed a hag.
"You killed a hag?"
That free agency that Sagona tapped me for.
"Yeah?"
Well, so I met some new people, and we had to be pretty clever. There were these snakes that were kind of like fey snakes, and we kind of picked our way through those. I had my little silent image out. That was really helpful. And it turned out that there was a hag that was kind of grinding up people's bones in the woods. And so it was really scary because we all worked together, and it wasn't like I had the only hit or anything, but she blinded me. I that spell that kind of like is dissonant in your head, and that like dissonant chords in your head.
Yeah,
I got a pretty good hit on her early with that, and that kind of alerted her to me, and then she took my sight. And that was scary, and I sure couldn't hit her with a rapier then, so I sang and seemed to knock her out.
Well done.
Yeah, it was
That's pretty
was
fucking
scary.
cool.
It was scary, but I guess it was a good fight. Anyway, it was certainly not the kind of thing that they usually send us on for free agency, but it felt like I was a real fighter, that I was actually fighting for my life and the lives of those around me. So I guess
You see that Nore is smiling.
I kind of learned how to do it for real now.
Well, it's about fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what then, Tem. I won't hold back in the fall festival, and I hope you don't either.
I'm not gonna.
She holds out a hand and she says, "May the best bard win."
Yeah. Seems like we're pretty evenly matched, though, huh?
Seems like it. I have some tricks.
You sure do. You have new tricks. That blade thing, that big hit you got on me. What was that?
That was a flourish. I've been reading up on the sort of maneuvers that you take to distract people, and it works.
Bet it does.
It's almost like you can channel, you know that feeling when you're singing something and you want it to impose a spell, but you haven't decided what yet. That feeling, it's like it went straight into my blade.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But good
You don't even
shit.
need
You
a
got me real
sword.
good.
You don't even need a magic sword.
I'd like one.
Well, you next, but maybe not from a Jinn, because
No.
don't tell it.
I
I'm a
don't.
little worried about it.
Don't tell anyone, but I think you should be.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for telling me. I mean, I was gonna have Tabernacle check it out anyway, make sure it wasn't cursed. But it's good to know that there's gonna be a price eventually.
Yeah, I bet there is. Just make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, confidence comes from a good weapon too, I guess.
And you can't have a good story without a conflict, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
Exactly.
here's yours.
You want to get dinner?
Roll a persuasion.
We can go to Shipstool. You don't have to go to. I know you don't like the Mary Guard. I am re-rolling that. I'm burning 2 inspirations. Oh my god, 2 natural 1s in a row.
Uh, the dice have spoken.
They have spoken.
Norei says, "Sorry, kid, I got a lot of work to do."
Hey, I'm not a kid.
Think of it as better than idiot.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
I thought so. But I'll see you around.
Yeah, yeah.
She,
Thanks for
thumps you on the shoulder and then begins making her way out of the training room. Your shoulder hurts. That's where she stabbed you.
Tam Wizards.
Yeah. Now, as
He's
you...
gonna call. He's gonna call to her at the end. Told you were gonna like me.
Don't fuck it up.
I'm not gonna.
And she's eyeing you as she walks out of the training room. And as she leaves and you are recovering from your stab wound, that is where tonight's session will end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As always, to all of our listeners at home, thank you all for listening. I can't wait to see you again next week. We love you, and I hope you all have a good night.